Okay. Test. Check. Hello.
Hi.
Hey. So, Michelle.
Yes.
You're the first guest of the day.
It's very exciting.
Which means you have to sit through the introduction. It's perfunctory. It's the Ferndale Library Podcast. What is it called? It's called A Little Too Quiet, and it's brought to you by the Friends of the Ferndale Library. I'm Jeff, and you just heard me acknowledge Michelle's presence. Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
So, summer's basically here. Folks who are hearing this, it's like almost Memorial Day when we're posting this. So, it's summer. It's basically summer, right?
It's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're ready for it.
And our summer reading challenge is right around the corner, and I'm under no false pretenses that people listening to this are probably adults. We're speaking to grown-ups. We're really excited about getting you to read a book, hopefully more than one book this summer, because we're challenging you to try to read as many as 4 if you can before the summer's over. And if you do that, there could be prizes in store for you. So that's very exciting.
You can do it.
You can do it. So we thought we would kind of get you some motivation with this episode where staff will be coming on and providing you recommendations of summer books. And it's a vague prompt. Now it could be anything. I'll explain further when our second guest gets here. But Michelle, what books did you bring? No, I'll explain now. I won't be cryptic. I told folks to just bring me a book that had a summer vibe. Bring me a book that you associate with summer. Bring me a book that takes place during the summer. Bring me a book that is coming out this summer. Anything that will get our listeners, that's you, to read the books that you want to recommend. So, Michelle, that's your prompt. What did you bring to the table? You got 2 picks.
I've got 2 picks, and I'll preface this by saying I like my books on the darker side. So we're going to have...
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a big beach read person, and I think I love summer. I love the sun. I love the waves, but I also like the sort of menacing side of summer as well. So
you were reading Gone Girl 10 years ago, huh? I see.
So the first one I have is actually, it's not a real dark pick, but it is the summer book by Tove Jansson.
What a good pick.
I hope I'm saying that right. Have you read it?
No, but
okay.
I asked for summer recommendations and you brought a book that's literally called The Summer Book.
The Summer Book, yeah. So
it's got a beautiful cover.
It does. And I don't know if folks are familiar with Tove Jansson, but she is the author of the Moomin books. And we have a few folks here that are fans of the Moomin books. Those came out in the 1950s, and they're centered around a character named Moomin Troll that's sort of an upright hippopotamus-looking creature.
You've probably seen a meme or a GIF at this point.
Yeah. It's a really delightful world, and they're children's books, but if you've read them before, you'll see they're very matter-of-fact. They're not condescending to children at all. Sometimes the friends are jerks.
Sure.
They're very much out in nature, and so the summer book was really written for adults, and it doesn't have any of the Moomin characters, but if you're a fan of that world, you'll probably find something familiar here. So the summer book is sort of, I would say, like somewhat autobiographical for Tove, because she was born in Finland, and like her family spoke Swedish, but every summer they would go to the Gulf of Finland and stay in a fisherman's cottage.
Lovely.
So this book is about, ostensibly there's 3 characters, a grandmother, her son, and her 6-year-old granddaughter, Sophia. But the dad is kind of not really in the picture very much. It's very much about the grandmother and 6-year-old Sophia, and these 2 kind of tromping around the island in a this is not your fancy summer cottage at all. It's very bare bones. It's very small. And it's about their relationship between the 2 of them. I kind of wanted to read some passages if I could, just because
please.
I like to give the feel of a book. At least myself, I like to read a little bit before I decide. So if this sounds like something you might enjoy.
No. But like maybe just give readers a little bit more of what to anticipate. There are no upright standing hippopotamuses.
No, just people.
Is there any hint of magic? Is there any...
No, the only magic is the magic of the everyday.
Okay. Lovely.
Nature.
Sure.
And boredom. I think if you're looking for something that's sort of an unplugged...
Wait a minute. Is this... Wait a minute. Wait. Is this inverse summer hygge? Is this what this is?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's traipsing around, finding what you find on an island, using your imagination,
Okay.
not always being in a great mood, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read like the very beginning of it to
Sure.
give you a feel. And these are all just vignettes. It is a sort of a linear book in that things happen in a certain order, but it's very much not like this is the plot and from, chapter to chapter. It's just kind of like this happened, then this happened. So this is how it starts. The morning swim. It was an early, very warm morning in July, and it had rained during the night. The bare granite steamed, the moss and crevices were drenched with moisture, and all the colors everywhere had deepened. Below the veranda, the vegetation in the morning shade was like a rainforest of lush, evil leaves and flowers, which she had to be careful not to break as she searched. She held one hand in front of her mouth and was constantly afraid of losing her balance. "What are you doing?" asked little Sophia. "Nothing," the grandmother answered. "That is to say," she added angrily, "I'm looking for my false teeth."
Okay, all right.
This is how it begins.
Very evocative. Nice adjectives. Very redolently described there. I could feel like I was right there with them.
Yeah.
And also, what a sharp turn there with the dialogue that you ended on.
So
Okay.
we start with she's lost her false teeth, and she's also very old. So part of this is that she's sort of losing some of her faculties, sight and things like that. And Sophia definitely comes in clutch for grandmother and helps her find things. And
Tove Jansson.
yes,
The summer book, sort of what we would call autofiction. Because she's probably a stand-in for the little girl, right? Maybe
yeah,
that's her
and I
story.
believe she wrote this shortly after her mother died, and she was
Okay.
very close with her mother.
Okay.
So there's maybe a feeling of
And like a tight 160 pages.
yeah,
Nice.
not like a quick read. You could read this in a couple days. This would be a lovely just hanging out in
Great.
the backyard at
Great.
the beach.
You
Yes.
count it toward your reading challenge, adults. All right, so the next one gets dark.
The next one is definitely dark. The next one is called The Guest by Emma Cline. And this came out, I want to say, a year ago.
If that, yeah.
Yeah, it is set in August in the Hamptons. And our main character is named Alex. She is, I think, what we could call a sugar baby.
Okay.
Maybe. She's
Okay.
got an older, wealthier boyfriend. And he's the reason that she's out in the Hamptons. I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say that she gets dumped
Okay.
in the beginning, and then but he's also having a Labor Day party. So it's 5 days until the party, and so she doesn't. She's a scrappy survivor, and she is not going to tuck her tail and go back to New York City. She says, if I can just make it through the next 5 days, I'm going to win him back at his Labor Day party. So this book is basically the 5 days between getting dumped and being ready to win her boyfriend back at the Labor Day party.
Oh, no. Sounds disastrous.
Fans of John Cheever will like this. It reminded me a lot of The Swimmer.
Okay.
It's very much... she talks about, like, there's a telling scene where she's talking about going to the beach with her boyfriend and how they both kind of kick off their shoes at the entrance to the beach. And she says, well, we're just a big pile of shoes here. Well, are you worried they're going to get stolen? And he's like, who would want to steal shoes? And that's when she realizes, oh, I'm not the same as these people. However, the people here are very trusting, and I can get them to trust me. So she's a bit of a scammer.
Sure. Okay.
And she gets herself in a lot of different situations where she can kind of fit in the beginning, but it's almost like she's cosplaying as these young women who, kind of get by on their wits. but she's kind of has to remind herself, brush your teeth.
Sure.
Make sure your nails are clean.
Sure.
The mask definitely starts to slip, and that's how she finds herself going from one situation to another, because she can never quite stay in one situation for too long before that mask starts to slip and she has to be on to the next situation.
That sounds delectable in a melodrama sort of disastery, delusional, deceptive kind of way.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound fully dark unless you're hiding something that you don't want to spoil.
Well,
does it get darker?
I think it's just, a lot of summer reads are about the shiny,
sure.
The Hamptons, the people
Sure.
who actually live in the Hamptons, right? And they have this very comfortable life, and we kind of enjoy reading about these summer comforts. And both of these books are not about a wealthy summer.
No.
They're about a very simple summer and kind of what we do to get from day to day in the summer when we don't have all the comforts of life.
Sounds great. And it sounds like The Guest is a great one to end on. If you like topical temporal reading, you could read it in August. It'll be great.
Yeah. Page turner for sure. Also just like really beautifully written.
Excellent. Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Test.
Cricket, you always test.
I want to make sure it works.
You can't even see the mixing board with the fading levels. You don't see the greens and yellows over here. Can you see it from there?
No.
Well, I appreciate you testing. Okay.
I'm helping.
Okay, so we're rolling along with our little summer reading recommendation fest. It's like a recommendation palooza where staff are coming in giving their picks based on my very loose, vague prompt, in which we just want our listeners to feel inspired to read more this summer, because hopefully they're signing up for our challenge, which is very fun. Don't we love like a little reward for reading? Don't we love,
I love it, Jeff.
Wait, Cricket, say that again.
I love it so much. Oh, I love it so much.
Look, Cricket, it's a good thing you tested earlier,
I know. I wasn't loud enough.
because I actually didn't have your mic on the entire time. Don't tell anyone at home. But now we're good to go, because we go on Goodreads and we log the book, and there's something rewarding about that. But like, if they log books with us, they get a cute little badge on their phone and cute little raffle tickets.
And it touches that part of your heart that if you are of a certain age, used to go to Pizza Hut with your big button
The Book It specials, yeah.
and get a star sticker
Oh yeah.
and get your free personal pan pizza that you didn't have to share with your siblings.
And on that note, I bet Cricket has a real messed up little book to recommend for us after that cute nostalgic.
It is actually kind of messed up. It's a little messed up. I haven't read this book yet. It comes out in June.
Okay.
I am very excited. The book is called Margot's Got Money Troubles by Rufi Thorpe.
Okay.
Rufi Thorpe is an author I'd never heard about until I was doing a little wander through the stacks last summer. And so for those of you who aren't paid to read book reviews all the time and shop for books, sometimes there's something a little freeing in just wandering the stacks and picking a book off the shelf knowing absolutely nothing about that.
Yeah.
It's the joy of discovery.
Wait, you mean how actual patrons
How actual
do it?
patrons do. Well, I don't know. Like now people are being like influenced on Book Talk and
Oh, yeah.
such. So maybe
That's a whole thing.
maybe they come in with a list too and they don't just wander through and find things. Anyway, last summer I was doing a little wander and I found this book called The Girls from Corona del Mar by Rufi Thorpe.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that title.
Yeah. Did I maybe bring it up in another podcast?
Maybe.
Anyway,
There are, in fact, two girls on the cover.
there's two girls on the cover. So
they're
I
like-
thought it was going to be like a beach read.
Yeah, because they're like at a pool or something.
They look a little sandy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm looking for a beach read. I will take this book. And it was not a beach read.
Uh-oh.
Dear reader. It was so much more than a beach read.
Okay.
It was beautiful and a little messed up. And it just talks, it was about female friendship, but it just talks more about the expectations we have on each other and how, people change throughout friendships.
Okay.
And, sometimes you're projecting a certain image of yourself on your friend. It was just so good. And I never heard of this author. And so I was just delighted to have randomly found this book. And then I found out she has a new one coming out this summer.
Okay.
And the premise of it is that this girl is in college. She's on the struggle bus. She has an affair with her professor and winds up pregnant with a baby. and has to drop out of college. And she's trying to figure out how to make money, hence the title, Margo's Got Money Troubles. This person, this Margo's father is a professional wrestler. And she is inspired to then create an OnlyFans account, but to add like some characterization to it, like
I love where
the
this
way
is going.
professional wrestlers.
I love where this is going in that it troubles me where this is going.
It's very troubling.
Yes.
And so I don't know what happens because I haven't read it yet, but I read that premise and I said, hot diggity, I want to read that book.
The Girls of Corona Del Mar?
No, that's the one that came out last summer.
Okay.
Margo's Got Money Troubles is the one coming out this summer.
Okay. But did you read the previous one you mentioned?
Yes, I read that one.
So do you anticipate a similar vibe? I guess let's tease readers with like, what did you like about that other book that you read that folks might like about this one?
The other one that I read made me feel uncomfortable in a great way.
That's literally what Michelle just said about one of her picks.
Oh no!
So you're both anti-beach read.
Michelle and I are here for uncomfortable girl summer.
Sure.
Yeah, it said things that were so true that I felt called out.
Well written, sure.
And that she said thoughts that I hadn't been able to articulate before.
Okay.
She uncovered pieces of my own brain.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to call it the Fleabag effect, but I have been seeing, and I say this with love because I've been reading them and enjoying them too. I have been seeing Disaster Girl as a trope.
Okay.
Does that fit what is it Rufi? Rufi. Does that fit what she had going on with the girls at Corona Del Mar?
Yeah. The disaster girl in question was the main character's best friend.
A little bit of a spiral, per se.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
So the spiraling will continue when we are going into OnlyFans involving wrestling to get ourselves some
involving
fast
different
cash.
Personas. Yeah.
I mean, what could go wrong?
Nothing. Everything. Yeah, I can't wait to read this. It's so different from any plot summary I've ever read before.
Do we have a release date for that one?
We could find it on the internet.
Do you have your phone?
No.
I don't have my phone either.
I can go here. Can you pause this or something?
Yeah, of course we could pause it. Okay. You can tell Cricket and I are actually true millennials because we're able to go into other rooms without our phones sometimes and not really even think about it. It just, it
feels good.
We embrace that.
So the release date is Tuesday, June 11th.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's coming right around the bend.
Yeah.
Folks can sign up for some reading on June 8th, and then boom, you could pick up your hold on Margo Has Money Trouble?
Margo Has Money Troubles.
Oh my gosh. Well, thanks, Cricket.
You're welcome, Jeff.
Is that how you select all your books to read?
Yes.
That's the ranking.
I literally refuse to read a book longer than 250 pages.
Really? Because I feel like I've seen you read things longer. But that might be more
not
an exception.
Adult fiction.
Okay. That's fair.
If you can't say
That's
in
fair.
250
I was gonna
pages,
say,
I
how will
don't
you
care.
ever read Twilight? But no, if it's adult fiction, okay, we're fair. We're that's fine. Yeah.
Someone get me an abridged version of Twilight.
I could just abridge it for you in like 2 minutes one day. It's not much going on that is like deep and complex. No offense to Stephanie, but I could do it. I could do it as like a one-man show.
Well, I might have to excuse myself now. Well, anyways, we're here.
Yay! Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
And I'm Julia.
And we're interviewing Jeff and also talking about our favorite summer reads.
Oh yeah, Jeff's here.
Yeah, I'm here, but I'm going to go last.
That's fine. He just wants to
How
make
convenient.
He just wants to make sure that, like we build up to his super great pick.
No, we should start with the the best
worst.
and then
Oh.
trail down.
Oh
You're
no.
like, let's start with the worst. Go ahead,
Wait,
Julia.
so are Julia and I gonna have to like argue about which one of ours is the best? Cause
That's exactly what I did just there.
Whoa.
Well, Aaron has 2, so I feel like
we can
Aaron-
make a sandwich.
whoa.
Aaron has 2, and they're both longer than Julia's 2.
Wait, yeah, I would love to get a combined page count there.
Okay,
We did bring
yeah.
our books to the studio because I like props and also
We wanted to
Yes.
show Jeff that
was
we
it.
like these books so much. Wow, look at that.
So let's start with that. I'll just moderate this situation. The guest list by Lucy Foley. Go, Aaron.
Yes. So
Aw.
when
Aw.
I think it's okay, one of mine's 294 pages, the other one is 313.
not
So,
too bad. Not too bad.
Not too shabby. So when I think summer reading, I think murder books, of course.
Oh my gosh. So this is the 3rd dark pick of the episode,
Well,
right in a row.
Don't
It's a
more
whole
murders
cruel
happen in the
summer.
summer? I think that's actually a thing.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, people are out of the house, more chance to run into someone who wants to kill you.
I was gonna say it's the temperatures doing that.
I
but
mean, that's a
I don't
fair
know.
argument. I don't know. Anyway, the guest list is a book by Lucy Foley, and it is about this couple who's like a superpower cool couple on top of the world. Everything's going right for them in life on the outside.
Uh-oh.
Who decides to have a wedding on, of course, a remote island where there's all these different things with the tide that basically trap everyone on the island with like no cell service, because classic locked room mystery, you can't have access to the outside. And it's kind of great, something that Lucy Foley has done several times now, I think, in her works, where she goes back and forth in perspective between like then and now.
Mhm.
So we have events leading up to the murder, and then events after the murder.
Okay.
And we don't always like know right at the beginning who has been murdered, just that someone has been murdered. So it's a fun guessing game of who was murdered, and then also trying to analyze, okay, well, who would have murdered this person?
So how many murders total in the book?
One murder.
Oh, okay.
One murder.
she's talking about Lucy Foley's past work.
Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm in a haze today.
It's fine. It's okay.
I haven't.
It's it's hot out today, so you just need to go and stay in this cool, calm
Mhm.
space so you don't commit a murder.
Sure.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, so that's Lucy Foley's kind of general thing that she's done a couple times, and it's a great example in the guest list where they are all trapped on this island. Great little wedding. Oh no, there's been a murder, and we have to go through which of the guests of this wedding had the means, motive, and opportunity to go and kill one of the guests. I don't want to ruin which one it is, but someone at the wedding dies. All the guests are suspects, and there's basically everyone's got a reason to want this person dead. So
Wow.
it leads to some pretty exciting times of trying to hunt down the murderer.
And is this written in a way that you can kind of figure it out, or is it like a twist ending?
I was able to figure it out.
Mhm.
It depends on how deeply you want to read it.
But
'cause I
you
feel
could
like
do a reread. And
you
be
could
like,
do a
"Ah,
reread and be like,
I see
"Ha-ha."
it. Yeah.
But I think it depends on like if you're reading this over the summer, it's just like I'm just gonna passively read this and just go with the flow of the story.
Mhm.
You may not figure it out, and then you'll be very surprised. But if you are the kind of person who's like, I've got my detective notebook and my detective pencil, and I'm gonna Nancy Drew this, then you'll probably figure it
That's
out.
a whole other episode.
Oh yeah, we could talk about Nancy Drew for like a whole
Oh,
episode if you want to.
yeah.
We're having an on-air meeting.
Yeah.
Guys,
pencil it in.
look out for the future content.
The Google Calendar event's been made.
All right, Julia, do you want to talk us about one of your books?
Well, I only have one.
But it's a
So-
good one.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't you like to know? So I have New Animal by Ella Baxter, which, fun fact, I found out today that there are only 2 copies of it in TLN.
Oh my god.
So write into your libraries in this one, because we don't own it, and say, hey, please, we need this book. We need this book.
I like the...
It's a call to action.
Yes.
Yeah. Please, pause the podcast. Don't even listen to what the book's about.
This is not a call out or a roast at all. And Aaron, please protect me. But usually...
I've already had enough.
I was just thinking that you might want to describe the book first.
No.
You might want to tell them what the book is about.
Now, I would argue that Julia is a person of very refined book taste.
Yes.
So our listeners should
They know me.
just believe,
The listeners know me from the last
Listeners,
roundup.
just believe in us. Julia's got a great book.
Okay,
Julia
well,
just gestured. She just pointed to the ether of like Earth out
Yeah,
there.
it's the same way that we
they
have
know
these
me.
They
visual
know
things.
me. All right. Let's
okay,
hear about
well,
the book.
anyways, back to the podcast. I hope you all just contacted your local library.
We gave them a pause to do that.
Yeah, that was what all that was for. Filler. That way you didn't even have to pause it.
You're welcome.
Yep. Okay. Here we are, back in this space. So, New Animal by Ella Baxter. Like I said, 184 pages. That's important. That's important because
And aesthetic.
yeah, the cover is really great. It's all pink. There's a girl swimming. It's quintessentially summer, right? I mean, I don't know. So, anyways, this book, where do I start? Actually, let me set the scene for you all,
Oh, I love
listeners
it.
at home.
Paint a picture.
It's summer 2023. I'm like, what am I going to read this summer? I feel like I need to feel better about my life. I'm going to go on what I've deemed Spiral Girl Summer. I really had a big 3 for that one, and this was in my big 3. And nothing's going to make you feel better than just reading a book that you're like, oh no, that's not what I would have done. And this is kind of that. But it follows Amelia, not Aaron's cat, but a different Amelia.
Actually, I don't want to, because if we're going like, man, poor choices by this character, I don't want it to be my cat. My cat only makes good choices, which include cuddles. So.
Yeah, well, yeah. So this is not a cat. This is a person. And Amelia is like pushing 30. The book opens up. It's a year after the passing of one of her very close friends. We kind of jump right into a scene where Amelia's like, she loves a dating app. She's like, I'm not looking for anything. She's just like casually having flings, like really struggling to like connect deeply with people. You get the dark humor right away with this book because she's got this random guy over at her house and she's like, oh, let me tell you all, she works at her family's funeral home as a cosmetic and like I don't know what else. She does basically like all the preparations for the funeral for bodies. And she's like, I know exactly what kind of makeup I would do on this man if he was dead. And I was like, I love that for you, girl. So she's already kind of sitting with that grief of the loss of her friend. And then pretty soon into the book, she very tragically loses her mother. And instead of helping her family, who owns the funeral home, get ready for that, she's like, I gotta go. And she does. She is out of there. And she goes to be with her biological father in Tasmania, which is like a bit of a journey. And while she's there, she's on a bit of a spiral, you know?
It sounds like it.
Because she has her family constantly contacting her, like, where are you? And she is just, like, very avoidant, like trying to deal with that. Yeah, trying to, like, almost put off dealing with that grief because her mother was just, like, such, like, a rock grounding her to reality in her life, and once that's gone, she's like fully untethered.
Well, especially if you just lost your bestie not that long ago, and then you just lost your mom right after.
Yeah.
Like, oof.
And in this string of events, she ends up going to this party with some random guy, and then for the rest of the book gets super into like the BDSM scene in Tasmania, which is like don't let that put you off, listener. If that's not something you usually read about, the way that it's framed in this book is really just like a coping mechanism that she's using, or like a way that she's trying to like process how she's feeling through like her physical body. And it's a very visceral read. For me, summer is like the season of like increased appetite for like so many things, and this was like a book I read very voraciously. I picked it up when it came out in 2021, and it's Elle Baxter's first book. I read 20 pages and I was like, absolutely not, and I put it down, and it took me until summer of 2023 to pick it up again. And I read it in like one day because I could not stop reading it. It was just like, it really hooked me that time. So, you know, you might not connect with it at first, but I think it really is just like a very human, raw book that you just really have to sit with. And if you bring this as a beach read, I'm going to tell you, you got to pack tissues, because honestly, I remember reading the end at work and I was crying at my desk and I was like, please no one talk to me for the rest of the day. And I just read the last page right before jumping on. And again, I was like, absolutely beautiful writing, and like in a way that is so unexpected, because I feel a lot of the subject matter, like, it's very heavy, and the writing really balances like a comedy with that, and just like you really feel like you are going through that process of grieving with the narrator. And it's just, it's a little heavy, but it is, at the end of the day, throwback to the last time we were talking about books at the end of last year. It's a silly little book. At 184 pages, you're going to go through a lot in such a short amount of time, and it's really just...
It sounds like a roller coaster.
It's a great journey. Yeah, it's truly a spiral with just a great ending.
I read it.
Oh,
yeah. Jeff read it.
4.9 out of 5.
I think I would also give it, if not like a 4.95 out of 5. Check Goodreads, it's got like a 3.41, but that doesn't mean anything.
You know, some people don't have like the same kind of taste. And
I did read a review today, because I'm a professional and I prepared to be on here. It may not seem like it, but I did. And a review was like, hey, this book isn't for everyone, but if it's for you, you're really going to like it. And I feel like that is very true. So once again, here's my call out. Contact your local library and say, please, please, we need this book.
Please, I need a spiral book.
Say please, please.
Please, please, we need this book. 1 out of 2 copies is checked out right now. And make it happen, listeners. Next time I check the catalog, I want there to be 20 copies.
And they're all checked out. By you, the listeners.
And that's going to be the only way we know people listen to this podcast.
Yeah,
make it happen, please.
If you're truly a Julia and Aaron fan on this podcast, we're going to need this to happen.
They know me.
He's like, it's fine if you don't want to choose my books to read, but you do have to read Julia's.
Please,
book.
I need this.
I'm going to need you to.
After that, I would love to throw the mic back to Aaron.
Yeah, so we've talked about murder, we've talked about spiraling. Let's talk about cozy feelings. So if you're not into murder / like a hot mess of a girl going through a lot of stuff in your life, maybe you just want something like chill and calm and good feelings only for like the beach. I would like to recommend, if you like fantasy, Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. It's great. It is all about a orc adventurer. She's had her time fighting. She's done with that. None of the book is about that. The book is instead about her true dream in life to open up like basically the first coffee shop around. So it's like a whole unknown market. She doesn't know much about running a business at all, but she's got a dream and a will. So she gets all settled into this new town. She starts making friends. And she maybe even finds like some love and romance. Whoa. I know. And it's all just basically about the good vibes and building up your dream and protecting your dream and making friendships and having your friends help you rebuild when bad things happen. One bad thing does happen in the whole book, basically. And it's resolved super fast and with good vibes and the power of friendship. So
I feel like that might be a great
It's
pairing.
a good chaser. Yeah. I kind of love that too. Like, you read Julia's book and then please check out Legends and Lattes to like heal your heart afterwards.
Yeah.
That's just something light and fluffy and super cute, super fun. And like the stakes are super low, but you will be super invested in this coffee shop. And Julia, you're going to love this part. There's like this little mousy character who loves to bake scones and other like cinnamon roll treats and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And he's
sold.
my favorite. He's just all like, I don't want to talk to people, but I do love baked goods. I'm like,
How
same.
relatable.
Sometimes, I feel that, mouse. So it's totally a nice, light, fluffy read if you're looking for something. It doesn't even matter if you like fantasy books or not so much. It doesn't really play a huge bit in the story. What it comes down to, more than anything, is just friendship, dreams, bakery, and coffee. So if you like any/all of those, I recommend that one. All right,
Well,
Jeff.
that's all the time we
No,
got.
it's Jeff's turn.
Wait, and we forgot the doorbell.
Oh, no.
No, I guess we'll have to just
Doorbell
count
benefit.
on Jeff's store.
Your book. What's your book?
I was invited in to the podcast yesterday, or last time, or a year ago.
God, yeah, that was not yesterday, Jeff.
Is that the bit we did where
It
there was a
feels like
doorbell and I
We
walked
came
in?
to your house
Oh, yeah.
and rang the doorbell.
That's right.
Here,
Well,
That's a callback.
Let's
to,
play it out right now. Ding dong.
Jeff, are you home? Listen.
Jeff, we're here.
wait, what are you two doing here? And why am I also on a microphone suddenly?
We want to talk to you about your favorite book and also see your cat.
Oh, great. Well, here's Matilda. Don't wake her up. She's sleeping. And, okay, so my book is, I went with an old favorite of mine. It's 8 years old now. It came out in 2016. It's called The Animators by Kayla Ray Whitaker. To date, I think it's her only novel. I'll check the facts after I get off the mic. But I was a big fan of it. It is about what it suggests, animators.
Whoa.
But at its heart, it's about a classic, what do they call this? Black cat golden retriever friendship.
Oh, yeah, my favorite.
You
Love.
have a duo of creators. You have Sharon Kisses, her real name, the golden retriever, and you have Mel Vaught, the black cat. And they're a animation super team. They create together, they storyboard together, they draw together, they have everything going. And they're trying to break into this male-dominated field of animation. And they're making a film together about Mel's childhood, because you'll learn very quickly that Mel is very open. She knows she's got demons. She's dealing with her demons. She's okay with having her demons out there. Sharon, the golden retriever, has some past trauma that throughout the course of the book gets unearthed, and it's not comfortable for either of them. But they go on a road trip to South Carolina, possibly North Carolina. It is a Carolina. And it's in the middle of summer. And it's hot, and so there's summer vibes there, but they have to go on a road trip briefly.
Classic. That's a classic summer thing.
And they're like, oh my God, we got to get back to New York and finish our film. But Sharon's like, oh my gosh, I have to go on this journey of self-discovery and deal with past childhood trauma. And Mel's like, okay, I'm going to be there for you, but come on. Anyway, very well written, just great dialogue. But it's 369 pages, so bit of a commitment. I was blown away by how well written it was, because it's describing a visual medium
Mm-hmm.
very effectively. I feel like I could see their animated film in my mind based on the page, based on the words on the page. So shout out to Kayla Ray Whitaker. And that's the Animators. And then can I get one more book in here?
Okay, but
Okay.
I would like everyone to know Jeff did not bring copies of his.
I
picks.
did.
I'm just gonna drink my fake coffee at Jeff's house while you tell us about this.
Oh
This
yeah,
is great.
and Matilda is awake now,
Oh,
and we're
no.
hanging out.
Matilda's
so.
Yeah.
awake.
Yeah, as long as Matilda's like us pet her, it's fine. You can do a
Okay,
second
great.
book.
So if you do love character driven stories, if you like character studies and you love great dialogue and descriptions of the art world, then go pick up the Animators. So the other book is not out yet. It comes out in late June. It's called Incidents Around the House. It is a horror novel.
Ooh.
It's the latest from our very own Josh Malerman. And its main character is named Bella.
Whoa.
Where the hell have you been, Loca? You must
Call back
say that.
to Twilight vibes. It's a haunted house story about a little girl named Bella who's 8 years old, and I think she's narrating it. She's like, oh man, everything's great. I've got this big old great house, and my mom's here, and my dad's here, and my grandma's here, and this other spooky ghost who is claiming to be my other mommy is also here and wants to like
Classic.
possess me and is continually asking me if it's okay if she possesses her. And I keep telling her, no, don't possess me. And this other mommy is now causing problems around the house.
Oh, I hate when that
Classic summer
happens.
vibes
And
for
that's,
me.
and that's all I know so far. It comes out hold on, June 25th. So
I'll probably read that one. That sounds really fun.
Okay,
I like
yeah.
the spin because it's basically telling the quintessential classic child demon ghost story.
Sure.
But from a
Possibly some
different
Coraline
perspective.
vibes. We'll see.
Yeah, some
We'll
Coraline
see.
vibes. It sounds a little bit like Paranormal.
Yep.
It's a movie series, but like
yeah.
from the kid's perspective, which is nice.
Yes.
Love that.
So those are my picks.
I wish I would have brought a second book.
Whoa.
Thanks
Whoa.
for cluing me in, everyone.
Well, you knew I was gonna do too.
I know, but Jeff, you didn't tell me.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is why communication supported.
Wait.
Oh no, Matilda just jumped off of my lap. Oh no.
Jeff just kicked me off on my Spiral Girl summer. Thanks to that.
Wow, what a great summer it's going to be with all these books. We're going all over the place. I love
all 5 of them. It's an odd number for some reason.
it.
We don't have an even 6.
Whoa. Be careful, Jeff. I think Julie might jump across the table.
No.
Or flip the table.
No. Matilda's in her lap, so she can't move right now. So I'm safe.
Wait, are you saying Matilda left my lap to
Yeah.
go over
Yeah.
to Julia?
Just now.
I fear you're not following us on this journey.
We're on a road trip to South Carolina right now.
Oh, yeah, and I bet if you brought that book, you wouldn't have known which Carolina it was.
That is a call out. All right. We should wrap it up right there, but there's more to come, folks. And I know we're only halfway through the podcast, but of course, all of these titles will be in the show notes. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us to your house /podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Let me see you out cordially.
I already left.
I'm just standing there waving.
I'm waiting in the car for Aaron.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, Julia, open up the sunroof.
We're good to go. Hey.
Hey.
Mary Graham
Yes,
is now joining us on the podcast.
it's me.
It's one of our fun supercuts where people are coming into my little studio here talking about books to read over the summer because it's summer reading time.
Yeah.
Libraries love that. Libraries love to challenge their community to a fun challenge to read some books during the summer.
I mean, and of course, as a children's librarian, I approach it from the kids, they're on summer break. Reading is important all year, but
yeah.
especially over the summer. But now that I am grown, personally, myself, I am like, wow, you know who else needs fun things to do in the summer? Grown-ups.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Because
I don't get a summer break anymore. I haven't gotten a summer break.
We still have
and
our jobs.
We still have our jobs. It's actually busy season.
And then we can like look forward to that
my job
book that we're reading.
Exactly.
At home on our nightstand.
Yes.
And so the prompt was very loose. It's anything summer. It could be a book coming out in the summer. It could be summer vibes. It could be a book that takes place during the summer. It could be just vibes. What did you bring us today? You have hopefully 2 picks. What is your first?
So I'm going to set the scene for you, Jeff.
A long-time favorite. Come up on the podcast a lot.
It's the late 19th century, and you're just a regular old solicitor who does real estate law, and your boss has sent you on an international work trip to meet with a client who's looking to move to your home country.
It's a totally normal scenario.
That's a totally normal scenario. It's also totally normal for when you get to this foreign to you country and you tell people where you're going. It's also totally normal for them to be like, devils.
Yes.
Wolves. Take this crucifix.
Wolves for sure. Maybe blue flames too.
Yeah. And, this is a book that is a love letter to archives. Because it's epistolary and it's got newspaper clippings and journals and things like that. It's a love letter to train timetables.
Sure. There are love letters in it.
There are love letters in it. It's also a very romantic book. It's also a buddy comedy.
It very much is.
There is a cowboy in it for no discernible reason. I am, of course, speaking of Bram Stoker's masterpiece, Dracula.
From 1893.
From 1893, which everybody should read over the summer. Source, I first read this book over the summer when I was in high school.
Okay, yes.
It was on, we had a required summer reading list and then a recommended list, and you were supposed to pick 3 books from the recommended list. We never got tested on this. Nobody ever asked. I did it religiously every year because I was a rule follower, but also because I was like, well, I could read Dracula.
Sure.
Dracula was actually that was a required book before I took British literature. And so I read it in the summer and can confirm that like it's gripping, it's absorbing. That's what you want from a summer read, is you want to completely be there. But I think also what a lot of people don't know is that the action of the book starts in May and ends, I think, on All Saints Day, which is the 1st of November.
Right.
So people think of Dracula as this, autumn or winter read. None of it takes place in the winter.
Peak summer.
It is a peak summer book. And for that alone, to throw the vibe, even though you're not even throwing off the vibe, because it takes place in the summer. It is a book that you should read during the summer. And I guarantee you, if your only passing familiarity with Dracula is adaptations,
vampires,
or the general kind of pop culture concept, get ready. This book is not what you think it's going to be, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Oh yes. And well written, spooky, certainly.
Oh, definitely. It's scary. If horror fans out there, and like, I'm a baby when it comes to horror. So like I haven't seen Midsommar or any of those like horror films where the scary thing is actually the brightness of it.
Sure.
But I am kind of obsessed with like scary things that happen in the summer. And most of it does take place at night. So it's like you think about, okay, well, summer's long. Like it's already a little bit creepy that the sun takes that long to set now. And then, you have how many hours of darkness, and how much terrifying stuff can we fit in those couple of hours of darkness? Read Dracula, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good time.
Oh, yeah. And also, fill me in on this. There's something cute that happens online. People track the days of the letters' deliveries.
Dracula Daily, Jeff. Yeah, so Dracula Daily, which actually exists as an email list. You can go, I believe it's on a Substack, and you can sign up, and this nice guy named Matt Kirkland will send you an email. Because it's an epistolary novel, it starts, I think, on May 3rd. So we all got an email on May 3rd that's the entry in the book for May 3rd. This is a fun reading experience, A, because it's like book club. A lot of other people on the internet are reading Dracula along with you. And B, it's actually not the order that the book itself is in. So if you come
to the library, go to fiction, Stoker, pull Dracula off the shelf, you'll get Jonathan's journal all at once. Well,
Right.
Jonathan's journal is kept over a span of months. So if you read Dracula Daily, you'll get it over a couple of months interspersed with letters of other stuff that's happening in the book at the same time.
That's awesome.
It's really, really interesting. And there's actually, if you'd rather read it like that in print, there is a print version of Dracula Daily annotated by the internet. So it's got a lot of the fun kind of fan commentary. I actually put it on Interlibrary Loan. I have a copy of it sitting on my desk here at work. It's a real fun and good time. If you prefer podcasts, there's also Dracula, so RE : like an email, Dracula, which is the same Dracula Daily model. It's a radio drama. It drops in the same kind of order and style, and super, super good time all around.
Excellent.
And then I've got like half of a recommendation because I'm only halfway through the book.
Okay, so this is a newer book.
This is a very new book.
Comparatively.
It is very fresh.
Yeah.
It just came out last week
Okay.
as we are recording this. It is called You Should Be So Lucky. It is by Cat Sebastian. I think summer and I think baseball. I'm a baseball girl. I've got whenever the Tigers are on the radio and I am home with my radio,
Sure.
the radio's on, I'm listening to a Tigers game. So I believe in reading about baseball in the summer. I believe in reading romance novels in the summer. This is a gay romance novel that takes place in 1960s New York between a baseball player and a newspaperman. I
Nice.
love an intrepid newspaperman. And I'm about halfway through it, but so far I don't want to say it's cute because like it is, but it's also deeply emotional. So I would say it's swoony.
And this is an author you're a fan of.
I love Cat
They've got bona
Sebastian.
fides.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I will read anything Cat Sebastian writes. Cat on the
Romance.
podcast. Yeah, romance. It's been really fun. She started writing fluffy Regencies with gay couples, which was great because when she started writing, there were no fluffy gay Regencies. And she is slowly moving into the 20th century. So she has a couple of cozy mysteries with romantic elements that are set in the 40s. And it's like Agatha Christie, but make it gay. And then she's got the Cabots series, which is more into the 50s. We Could Be So Good, which was her previous book, which is two intrepid newspapermen. And now she's moving into the 60s. And I just love baseball.
Excellent.
So those are my two recommendations. Go forth and have a great summer reading, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Oh, great. Joining us now is Susan to talk about some summer books. Hey, Susan.
Hi.
How are you?
Great, thanks.
Great. So, again, I didn't provide a structured prompt. I just said anything summer. So what did you bring for us today?
I brought Lies and Weddings by Kevin Kwan.
Okay. And is this a genre pick, perhaps?
It's actually, I would call it a beach fiction.
Okay.
Like, definitely a beach read. And it's the same author that wrote the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy.
Oh, okay.
So
Very well known.
This one is separate, so it's a standalone. And it's due out May 21st. And so perfect time for
Yes, indeed.
just like the beginning of summer and, you know, what you want to plan to take with you on your road trip
Mhm.
or read in your backyard if it's a nice day out. Or on the beach, if you're going to the beach this summer.
Oh, yeah.
And the plot is, so there's a young bachelor, and he's from a wealthy family, and he's in trouble because he spent all of his family's money, and not everybody in his family knows. There's only a few people in his family that know. He looks like he's really doing fine. He looks like he has everything he wants, everything he needs. He doesn't look like there's anything wrong. But some people know really he's hiding behind an empty bank account. And so his mom is realizing that he's in trouble. So her idea is for him to go to his sister's wedding that's coming up and then find someone who's really wealthy and see if he can fall in love. So, I mean, it's very
What could
silly.
what could go wrong?
But, like, what else would you want for your summer read, right?
Sure.
You know, just something really silly. So, it turns out that there's a scandal, and there's some money, and there's some murder, and then maybe there'll be true love.
Some murder. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot that's packed in.
Did you read, even if it wasn't the trilogy, did you read any of the Crazy Rich Asian books?
Yes.
Okay.
I read all 3 of those.
Okay.
Which is how I know this one is, it's going to be very funny for one, because the author is really funny. And there's also, it's funny, but there's also some depth to it. It makes you think about things like privilege and the haves and have-nots and sort of how people deal with wealth, but in a way that makes it really easy to understand, and you just get a good laugh, or it makes you think in a way that it's like you thought about it but not too hard, but then it still gives you something at the end of the story, which is good. And the movie was the Crazy Rich Asians movie was really good too, so I would recommend the book.
And we say murder, but at the end of the day, do you think like the prevailing vibe of this is just, I don't want to use the word fun, but there's comedy to it, right? Kind of like a sharp, biting comedy, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, comedy, or, kind of almost like comedy of error, or comedy of like trying to be someone you're not, and then the characters realize who they really are by the end.
Is there anything else about it that you liked most of all?
It's set in various different places, so
Nice.
it's they're all over. They're worldwide locations, and it's really their descriptions are really fun. So it puts you right there. I mean, they went to the resort where the wedding is a eco-friendly resort, like on a Caribbean island, and then they go to Morocco, they go to Europe, they go all over, and then it's a way to sort of see into a window of this very fancy life, and then you get to kind of laugh along with everything that happens.
And the character isn't entirely fully likable, it sounds, but maybe you do kind of root for him, maybe?
Yes, I think at the beginning it doesn't seem like he's going to be very likable.
Okay.
It seems like maybe he's just kind of doesn't know what he's doing, and his family is kind of trying to keep him in line, or like try and save themselves, because this kind of sounds like a book where somebody's reputation might accidentally go up in flames and they don't really mean to, but given the plot and trying to rescue yourself from debt and not look like that's what you did, it's a challenge.
Excellent. And the author and title one more time for folks?
The author is Kevin Kwan, and the title is Lies and Weddings.
Excellent. Thanks, Susan.
You're welcome.
Sam Kimball's back on the podcast. Hello again.
Hello.
And so last time you were talking about your favorite book of the year.
Yes.
And it was a book that I always mess the title up. It's something about Mr. Norrell and Jonathan Strange.
Yeah, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
Okay, got it.
You got the two elements
I got
exactly
it.
right.
I got it. And you said that was kind of an unconventional pick for that situation. I think you also prepped me by saying you have an unconventional pick for summer.
Yes.
What is it?
So my pick is This Was Our Pact by Ryan Andrews.
I've never heard of it.
So it is it's this amazing graphic novel. It's like, I feel even reluctant to say this because I don't want to discourage anyone from reading it, but it was written for kids, but it is definitely like a worthwhile read for adults too. It's generally great book.
Well, sure. I mean, Neil Gaiman sometimes writes to younger audiences that you can still take a lot out of, right?
Yeah.
And so, graphic novel though.
Yeah.
Tell me more before I ask more questions.
Okay, so this is where we're getting to kind of the unconventional part, because it is it's these two kids, I think they're these two middle school boys, just going on this bike ride through this weird kind of like fantastical world.
Sure.
And it
Did they find a portal or something? Well, how'd they
no,
get there?
it's just the world they live in.
There. Okay, great.
I don't know if they were. I mean, they really seem to be taking all the stuff in stride. So I imagine perhaps they knew something about it. But, it's just that part's not super important to the story. Yeah, but they decide to head out on the autumn equinox, which, yes, it takes place in autumn. I still think the summer vibes are impeccable. And they decide to go on the autumn equinox. There's this tradition in their town where everyone puts the lantern over the side of a bridge, and the lanterns kind of get washed down the river. And these two and a group of other kids decide to head out to follow the river and see where the lanterns go.
Okay.
And they make a pact at the very beginning that no one turns around and no one looks back. And these are our two main characters are the only ones who are able to stick with that pact.
Whoa.
And so they're just heading down the river on just an adventure, and they're not looking back. And it feels...
That's an intense dedication. It sounds kind of scary.
I mean...
Is the adventure dangerous at any moment?
Yes. It's like, it's kind of aimed at younger audiences. So there's not like, you don't ever get, it's been a while since I last read it actually, but you don't, I feel like you don't ever get the sense that maybe their like actual lives are in danger, but they do get into some bad situations.
What was it? Anything else about it might have given you summer vibes? Was it the art maybe?
Let me think. So I think the main summer vibes thing coming from it is that it really feels like it is kind of capturing the feeling of like summer break for me, where it's just like this feeling of kind of like just kind of heading out there, and you're going to see what happens, because I don't know, like it kind of feels like there's a feeling of freedom there, which it's kind of like nostalgic, but also it's not like too sugar coated. Sure. Like there is like actual like tension and stuff, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. But did you like the art in general though?
Yes, absolutely.
Sweet.
The art is very good. It's like,
was it busy, colorful, exciting, or minimal?
It's
like...
pretty, it's kind of like stylized and actually very minimal colors. Like I want to say most of the book is done in kind of like shades of blue, black, and white. Cool. There are areas of the book that have more color, but it like usually sticks to like a small palette. And it's just, it is very good artwork. It's kind of like it's just very well stylized. Nice. It's just,
And what was the title and author again?
This Was Our Pact by Ryan Andrews.
Oh man. And all ages can dive in.
No, yeah, definitely.
Nice. Well, Sam, thanks again for coming on the podcast.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
A pleasure. Okay. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our summer reading special, where staff was coming into the studio to give you personal recommendations. And I even gave you one of my own. I was hoping to squeeze in one more, actually. You know, we recorded all of these in one day. And I was hoping we were going to get one more staff member. I was hoping we were going to get Pietro in here, because I know Pietro and I are both looking forward to Rebel Girl, which is the new memoir from Kathleen Hanna of Bikini Kill and Le Tigre. So look forward to that. I'm going to throw that into the show notes. For music fans of early 90s Riot Girl, feminist punk rock. Wonderful singer-songwriter Kathleen Hanna. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up right there. Plenty of recommendations to go around, of course. You'll find that whole list on our website. Thanks for listening to another episode of A Little Too Quiet. It's the Ferndale Library Podcast, and it's brought to you by the Friends of the Ferndale Library. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe. And if you have other friends out there who are looking for recommendations because they don't know what to read this summer, share this episode with them. But also, plan to come to the Ferndale Library on June 8th, anytime between 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. to sign up for this year's Summer Reading Challenge. If you complete the challenge, your odds are probably pretty good that you could win a prize. All right, until then, take care, and we'll be back next week with more.